p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we're live. Going to have a quick chat. Wait a few minutes here for people to arrive into the stream. I'm here to answer any questions you may have, anything you want to discuss. Making myself available now. So welcome. We've got a beautiful day. Absolutely beautiful out. Perfect weather. Great day to get a stream going, sit outside, get some fresh air. Let me know if you're in the chat. Let me know if the stream's coming through okay, my friends. Appreciate it. A lot of things happening right now, my friends. Lots of different things happening behind the scenes and right before your very eyes. How you guys feeling about everything? Make sure as you enter into this stream that you tap that thumb button for me and shoot me a comment. Let's keep this conversation going. Look at that blue sky behind me there. Beautiful. Grant gets out, says, good afternoon, Dan. Good afternoon to you, my friend. Thanks for being here. Just waiting for some folks to arrive in the stream before we get going here. But as you come in, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer your questions at this time. Pam McWilliams, sure do appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much, Pam. And I appreciate you. We're all in this together. This great awakening, everything that's happening right now on the planet. It's an amazing time to be alive. Shinobi Swag, do you think aliens exist? And if they do, what would be the first media you would show them? Well, absolutely, extraterrestrials exist. And they're able to view all the different media, all the different transmissions that are made throughout our airwaves. So you wouldn't be showing them anything new. How's everybody doing? Where's everybody watching from? Pam McWilliams from Colorado. Grant gets out. Bob Monroe said he met an entity that came to Earth for our comedy because where it was from, they didn't have comedy. Grant's commenting from Arizona. Patriot Kablinski from New York. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Paul Waldrop, good afternoon from Virginia Beach. Good afternoon. It's an interesting time to just be an observer and watch what's happening right now throughout the world, the awakening process. Many people have now entered into the awakening process. Many of us, including myself, have been on this trajectory for, in my case, 2 decades. But it's interesting now to start to see even the most normal person, for lack of a better word, begin to start to question things that they've been told. And it's happening quicker than ever now. Iowa 07 from Canada. Iowa, what do you think about Canada becoming part of the United States? Grant Gets Out asks, what are your thoughts on crypto and where our money system is going? Well, crypto means death. It's funny how they put these words out there. You know, language is so important. They use language oftentimes to try to control narratives. Within that space, which I like to refer to as the digital asset space, there is so much happening. And your question is, and where the money system is going? Well, the quantum financial system is already in place. It's going to be implemented and rolling out slowly but surely. But as this occurs, you're going to start to see a lot of different changes throughout the earth, throughout the planet. Because the old system, the SWIFT system, for example, the way they transfer money internationally was so slow and bogged down that it ends up costing us a fortune just with the stagnation that's in that old system, and the central banking system controlling so much of the way money works is also evaporating, going away. The Federal Reserve, gone. By the way, if any of you watching didn't know, the Federal Reserve is actually not a federal entity. It's its own private entity. Now, within the digital asset space, you have different projects that are doing different things. For the most part, I stay far away from any meme coin, although, they can be quite profitable if you hit it at the right time. But I'm more interested in utility and what's happening as we move into this future. We've got opportunities right now unlike ever before. What's happening in the monetary system is going to beat out what happened during the whole dot-com era. Even real estate, all the big companies, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, there's opportunities right now that people can invest in that is going to prove to be some of the best decisions of their life. But it takes patience, it takes some homework. And I'm not here to give any financial advice, but the future is quite obvious at this point. Many of us have already been in this space for quite some time. And it has proved to be one of the best decisions that a lot of us have ever made. So take it as you will. Michael says, hey neighbor. Where are you from, Michael? Proof Gardens, the future is Rumble. Actually, the future, what's coming, what's rolling out now, most people, you can't even fathom the differences that are going to appear right before your very eyes. The world is going to hardly resemble what you currently understand it as in just a few years. Sandra D, I made it. Watching from Long Island. Hello, Sandra D. I believe it was you that made a comment on one of my recent videos, one of the Trump Truth Social posts, him exposing the vaccine. Was that you? Because I did respond to your comment. Michael, I'm from Tyler, Texas. I was saying, hey neighbor to yep yep. Oh, okay. All right, so Sandra, in your comment, you said that you do not trust Trump. I didn't see your response, but I tried to shed a little bit of insight to help you understand. Proof Gardens, the future of content creation is Rumble. Well, I beg to differ on that. It's good to have many different options for posting. But we're taking this space back right here. YouTube. We're taking it all back. I still see a lot of truthers self-censoring themselves, which is quite the letdown. Self-censorship is a no-no. Remember the language. You can use language to better explain yourself without making blanket statements, things that could potentially cause you an issue. You can have a strong opinion about something, and you can say vaccine, you can say Trump. But I see these guys still using code speak. For what? To protect your income? Proof Gardens, why choose YouTube, the one who has been so against your own vision? So there's a lot of changes happening within YouTube. If you haven't noticed, I'm still here. Since back in the days, the Meg Whitman days, when she was banning the heck out of different truther channels and promoting the vaccine, and then later passed away from an aggressive hypercancer just a short time after that. Things have changed quite a bit. Alexi Azaroff, Miami girl here. Juniper says, I'm from the UK, crazy here. A lot of UK patriots watching intently to what's happening here in the United States. Because a lot of folks understand that what happens here has a residual effect that spreads throughout the entire world. So if the U.S. had ever fallen to communism, globalism, it would just be a for sure thing for the rest of the world. So we have a lot of patriots in the UK tuning in and rooting for America at this time. A lot of them are also in shock at the ignorance that still permeates through the social construct of our society here in the United States. But a lot of it is just due to the manipulation, the brainwashing, the indoctrination. But it's slowly breaking down. Des says, you can tell them and they will go get boosted to prove you wrong. Well, that's the beauty of free will. Everybody has an option to do what it is that they want to do. Hopefully they're basing those judgments and making those decisions based upon information that they've gathered through due diligence rather than just being told something through their television. Hello from Beijing, China, says Vode CT. Thank you for being here, all the way from China. Proof Gardens, I thought you of a lot of creators would be for other platforms such as Rumble, but if you're not, cool, I guess. I have nothing against Rumble. It just doesn't have the reach, for one. There's certain aspects about the way the platform runs that I don't like. Their ads, for example, the way that they run congruent to each other, there'll be one ad and then it will play the same ad over again. There's just these little glitchy things within the platform. Also, when they decided they wanted to become bigger, the first couple guys they pulled over to their platform was Steve Will Do It and Tim Pool. Neither one I have any issues with, but it's just like, I don't know. Not resonating with me. No baloney Maloney. I think America is in the same because the AI data centers being built in various locations. I'm going to get back to that in a moment. Just going to try to catch up to some of these comments. Sandra D, I started milling my own grains like they did in the Bible. Going to make Ezekiel bread like in the Bible. Oregon Gypsy says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Proof Gardens doesn't give you the money for now. YouTube is a giant. Proof Gardens is encouraging me to go over to Rumble. Says we'll go over there and fix it. And add your channel over there. Crowder and Pool aren't bad. I'll consider it. There was a time a couple years back when I was going to bring my whole show over to Rumble. And I was having problems transferring over my videos to their platform. They had an option where you could link up your account to your YouTube account and it would automatically transfer all your videos over, and it wasn't functioning right. I took that as a sign. Sandra D, these data centers are being built near water. These data centers need a lot of water to operate. I think you're referring to the water being used as a cooling mechanism. Proof Gardens. That's all I'm asking. Check it out. Fiona J. Murray, hi from Ireland. Hello to you, my friend. So the Matrix, this false reality matrix, this construct that begins from birth. You're born into this world. One of the first things they do is start injecting you with heavy metal neurotoxins for your health, right? And look at the overall health of Americans in the year 2025. Look at the amount of chemicals, the amount of genetically modified crops like corn being turned into corn syrup, being put in all these different packaged products, processed products. Look at all the dyes that they put into our food. it has just become an absolute joke, and everybody has to really pay attention to what they're putting in their body, because what you put into your body becomes you. And Sandra's again talking about these data centers require a massive amount of water for cooling, and this is why they are built near bodies of water. People complaining they have no water pressure from these data centers. Well, I'm not familiar with exactly what you're talking about. I know some of these data centers in China, for example, are being built underneath the ocean. So the deep levels of the ocean where it's very cool, and that shouldn't have any impact on people's water pressure. No baloney Maloney. My doctor said not to eat soy products because of glyphosate and estrogen. I'm assuming you're a man, maybe not, but you definitely don't want to be taking in excess estrogen either. Grant says babies don't develop a blood-brain barrier until they're around 2 years old, so do you really think it's good to inject 50 different shots into them? I think the number is now 74 total shots by the age of 6 or 7, if you can believe that. Fiona Murray, in Ireland, they built 4 new data centers ready to leave this earth. Why are you ready to leave? The fun is just beginning. Oregon Gypsy, and your electric bill goes up due to the centers. I'm getting an overall tone here of people being very against what's happening in the AI space and these data centers being built. I'd like to hear more about what you guys are thinking along those lines. Proof Garden, 74 shots. Yep. Joyce Eddy says hi. Hello to you, my friend. Now, I've been awake to the whole vaccine thing for quite some time. I tried my best to inform family members, people I knew, to avoid these schedules and to do whatever was needed, whatever was necessary in order to protect their children who are depending on them to make the right decisions. And one of the ways they capture these parents is by mandating a vaccine schedule in order to enter into the public school system, right? Now, I can't understand for the life of me why any parent would want to send their child into a public school system that requires that in the first place. The options at that point should be homeschooling or finding a private school that is more in alignment with your beliefs. But guess what? I posted a video earlier today sharing with you, I think it's the Department of Health who's working with the state of Florida, and they're going to be ending all vaccine mandates across the board. Now, one of the things that was quite interesting that he said in this particular video clip was, what does the government, how do we have any right to tell you what you should be putting into your body? This is what I and others have been telling you for a very long time. Nobody has a right to demand that you take part into some sort of a medical procedure or inject yourself with a foreign substance, especially when that substance doesn't come with a pamphlet that tells you the ingredients that are in there, has not been FDA approved, has not gone through the traditional 10 years of testing in order to be cleared so that it's proven to be at least safe to a certain extent. All those things were overlooked, and Nuremberg 2.0. Yeah, there's a lot of people who will be paying the price for the decisions that they made. Proof Garden's YouTube is Google, Dan. Yeah, I know that. Martian Stealth Jedi, COVID boosters. Brian Smolin, hey, from South Coast, New Hampshire. Hey, Brian. So what's being shown and what's being played out right now in Florida is going to spread throughout the entire country and then globally for that matter. But what people need to understand is that when you have a government official or somebody come out and tell you these truths, it should really be a slap to the side of the face for you to realize that that's been the truth the whole time. You're just waiting for somebody to tell you this, but you should have known this within yourself this whole time, that you are a sovereign being and you get to make the choice about what it is you're going to put into your body. And nobody can dictate to you what sort of medical procedure you must take in order to participate in society. They open themselves up to a huge amount of liability, both criminally and monetarily. And anybody who just stood up for their rights during this last episode, during the pandemic, you would have won. And you still can win. Wendy Loper. My mother is 83 and will never get the poke, and she knows it's not good. It does more harm than good. It's poison. Fiona Murray says, in Ireland, I've not had phone call, letters, or emails in 5 years now. They control shut me down for speaking up. Fiona says, they do in Ireland. They control my phones, 3 laptops, no posts, no emails, stole my 10K savings straight from my bank account illegally. They do. I can't comment on that. If any of that is true, what you're saying, if any of that were happening to me, I would be the loudest voice in the whole world. I have proof. I've recorded it all. Oh, really? Yes, really. Yes. Loudest voice on YouTube? You could say I'm one of the loudest voices. Like I said, there's many truthers out there that are self-censoring themselves. Fiona, do you have a YouTube channel? Nah, you're not, says Proof Gardens. Well, start dropping names. Who's out there that we should be tuning into, who's speaking some truths that's they're not self-censoring themselves? I want to know. I'll go check them out. Fiona Murray, no YouTube channel. Why not? Oregon Gypsy, hard to be high vibe when the dark forces spirits are controlling this world. You're creating your own reality with those words, and you're giving up your power and making yourself small with those type of statements, Oregon Gypsy. The truth is not always going to be something that is a feel-good truth, but that is. CJ says hi, hello to you. Fiona Murray, okay. Wendy Loper, vibe higher. Oregon Gypsy trying. I understand, where you're coming from. There seems to be phases that people go through in the awakening process. And the first one of the first phases after they begin to awaken is they get angry, dismayed at all of the lies that are now becoming revealed as the veil thins. And they vent about these things. But as you continue to move on the journey of ascension, of awakening, you then begin to tap into your own strength, your own power, your own ability to manifest the reality you want to see yourself living in. And you realize the importance of the words, the vibration, the action. You stop surrendering to the false narratives, the black pilling that takes place. And you start standing in the truth. And the best way to get there, the quickest way to get there, is to develop a strong connection with God. Grant gets out, says growing pains. Oregon Gypsy, thank you for the reminder. Hey, I'm just here to try to help to empower you, my friend, based upon my own life experiences and what God has shown me, what my star family has shown me. Trust me, I know how difficult it can be. And I know, Oregon Gypsy, what you've gone through with the loss of loved ones and such. So I'm going to continue to send my prayers your way. Proof Gardens, I lost a comment. You asked what channels to check out right after I posted it. It was removed. Well, don't post links, just put the names in. Maybe it was links. Sandra D, what do you do to bring up your vibrational frequency? Great question. See, I want to see more questions like this, my friends. There's a lot you can do, and any little bit is going to help. So, starting at the very base, I'm going to share with you some of the things that have worked for me, because there's no one right answer here. There's just personal experiences, what helps people. The most important thing on my awakening process was a deeper connection to God. The Lord came through to me, spoke loudly to my heart. And I answered the call. I began to make personal shifts, personal changes within myself, taking more responsibility for where I was at in my thought process and in my everyday lifestyle. But every little aspect matters. I did away with a lot of the old music I used to listen to because the lyrics were negative. They were low vibration. I did away with a lot of the people I used to hang around because, once again, they weren't on this same path. They were, in fact, a lot of times bringing me down. And in my attempts to remain social and to remain, somebody who's hanging out with their friends and living a somewhat normal life, I kept feeling myself getting pulled down. And I started recognizing that the people you hang around with as well can have a serious drain on your energy in your ascension process. The food that you intake, so important. If you're eating higher vibrational living foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, probiotics, supplements, roots, if you're drinking juices, if you're salads, if you're taking care of your vessel, your body, it's just like a plant in the garden. A neglected plant that's not getting proper hydration, not getting proper nutrients or minerals, looks droopy, is weakened, is often attacked by pests. But once you give that plant everything it needs, proper hydration, good nutrition, proper minerals, and the proper location as well. Some plants prefer more shade, some prefer more sun, but when you give it everything it needs, it then begins to thrive. And humans are the same way. You give yourself as many of those good things that are in alignment with what helps you to become your best self, and everything else just falls into place. Grant gets out. I also don't watch a lot of new movies or TV, like switched and flipped. I just can't. I think you meant can't. And I am with you there, Grant. Um, it's too bad, honestly, because of the artistic skills of so many of these people that get into acting, that get into entertainment. And then what ends up happening is a lot of these productions have been captured by the production companies, and there's an overall agenda. There's a lot of things that have been coming out in the new age movies that are coming out now. A lot of wokeness, for example. And it's hard to watch, honestly. The green screen, the fake backgrounds, the abundance of just loud noises and crashes and all this, it's so much for your sense. It's like sensory overload. And I know I'm not talking about all movies, but generally the box office hits that are out there, they're lacking big time. Proof Garden's starting to question because you have such great information. Then I start advocating for large platforms like YouTube, the ones who are against DJT's agenda, your agenda. Yeah, we're not on opposite sides. I agree with what you're saying as far as we should check out other platforms and divest from companies that go woke and that try to suppress us. I'm with you there. But I'm also a fighter. And I don't give in and I don't give up. And through this process, what I've been dealing with YouTube, for example, it's given me an even stronger voice to share with you guys the reality of the situation. I've talked about it many times. There's so much that you guys can't see in the background on the analytical side of what happens on my channel. You also can't see the feedback that I get as I put myself out there in the world. I get a lot of information back in different ways. And it's one of the benefits to putting yourself out there. You begin to awaken and realize things that you'd have no other way of getting to some of those conclusions had you not participated in this life, put yourself out there, and saw how it all came back and in which areas and how it was affecting the overall collective mindset, your own personal space. You begin to make connections that you would otherwise not have made. Proof Gardens, but you post how YouTube shadow ban stuff. 100%. I mean, look at the view counts on my videos as of late. Got 500,000 subs, guys. Nicole H says hi. Hello to you. So where they used to shadow ban channels completely, and you would type in their name and they wouldn't even show up, they do more of a soft shadow ban now. Whereas they do not recommend your channel on the sidebar after any other similar content. It's one of the ways they do it. They also don't show your video in the feed of a lot of your subscribers. They'll automatically unsubscribe people. They do a lot of different things. But watch me overcome it, Proof Gardens. I've already overcome it before. Proof Gardens, not just saying get rid of YouTube, just saying I'm with you as well. Right on. Juniper, wow, congratulations. So there's a lot you can do to accelerate your ascension process, your awakening process, coming to terms with the areas of your life that you feel that there's something missing. Perhaps you don't have the whole story. Perhaps you've been misguided. We have to dig deeper into these questions that we have. Oregon Gypsy said, shadow banned by dark forces, LOL. Not. Yeah, so exactly. Everything that they try to do to hold channels back that are sharing truth is only going to come back to bite them in the butt. That's the reality of the situation. I don't sit here focusing my energy on everything YouTube is doing to me. I pointed out certain things for you guys so you guys could see what happens. So you can see it from the perspective of a creator, somebody who's been on YouTube for over a decade. But other than that, I pay it no mind. No baloney Mahoney. So that's why I consistently resubscribing. Well, you guys saw what happened to Twitter. It went bye-bye, became X. Big corporations like YouTube, I would really like to see their financial books to see how profitable they actually are at this point. Because a lot of these mainstream news organizations, late night television, and social media platforms seem to be losing money, not making money. So the question is, why are they doing this? Why are they at it then? Because of the political agenda. So a lot of the different media programming has really become an arm of the left-wing propaganda news and information that gets spread through these platforms. Juniper X equals KISS in the UK. Joy said he says the sun is going down in Kentucky. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to end this stream now. I just wanted to check in, say hello, and answer any questions you may have had. I do my best to try to keep the conversation going and let you guys know that I'm here. I'm here to answer your questions. If you leave a comment and you don't see a response, these lives are a good place to show up and to ask me directly. Kevin Lee, yeah, I'm still popping grommets. Popping grommets over here, popping grommets over there, popping grommets just to see you shake your derriere. Some of the folks watching are like, what is he talking about? You still popping grommets, Kevin? Hope so. Proof Gardens, stay cool, Dan. I do like your material. Thank you, Proof Gardens. I like being challenged, so bring the challenging questions my way. I'm not looking for a choir to sing to here. Of course, I like being around like-minded individuals, awakened souls on this journey of ascension. But I like the challenge of people that have opposite opinions to me, and I think it's good that we discuss these things. Kevin Lee popping them grommets big time. That's what's up. Sandra D says thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Sandra D, what have you heard from God? What did he say to you? That is a whole video in and of itself. I was actually contemplating putting something together earlier about some of those contacts. All right, guys, y'all take care. Stay blessed. Stay in a high, loving vibration. I love you. God bless. Take care.